Going. Uh, there we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Kabbalat Shabbat on Zoom. So we're going to start today with Devar Torah from Morris. Welcome, Morris. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. In some parts of the world, dawn arrives with rosy fingers to smooth away the creases left by night. At 3:41 BST tomorrow, these rosy fingers will caress the heel stone, the central stone of Stonehenge. However, this year, the Druids will be following the Jewish custom and celebrating the solstice on Friday night. Apart from allowing us to target our inner Druid, what has it got to do with us? The summer solstice, try saying that too quickly. The summer solstice marks the longest day, the moment in the northern hemisphere when the sun's light is at its strongest, and conversely, we're the furthest point from the sun. Many cultures celebrate the solstice with bonfires, immersions, or fertility rites. Jews have not traditionally had a summer solstice ritual per se, but medieval European Jews marked the summer solstice by not drawing water because they believed the water might be affected by the eerie power of the day. In Jewish legend, a number of biblical events are said to have happened on the summer solstice, including the expulsion from Eden and the moment when Moses struck the rock to get the water for the Jewish people. Miriam's expulsion from the camp and her 7 days in the desert also took place around this time. Whilst there isn't a specific Jewish prayer for the summer solstice, the Birkat HaChama, blessing of the sun, is recited when, according to Jewish tradition, the sun returns to the exact spot in the sky it occupied at the time of creation, which happens roughly every 28 years, and is recited while facing east upon seeing the sun fully risen. Some communities incorporate the blessing into a more elaborate service, including Psalms 148 and 19, as well as El Adon, Aleinu, Kaddish, and other liturgical poetry. Furthermore, some individuals and communities may offer prayers of gratitude for the summer season and its bounty, or prayers for renewal and rejuvenation. Birkat HaChama is recited to thank Hashem for creating the sun. The blessing is recited when the sun completes the 28-year cycle on a Tuesday at sundown, but because the blessing needs to be said when the sun is visible, the blessing is postponed to the following day, on Wednesday morning. The last time this was recited was April the 8th, 2009. It's the 14th of Nisan, 5769. And the next time will be April the 9th on 2037. Please make a note in your diary. The primary sources for this institution of the Birkat HaChama is a Bereta mentioned in the Talmud. Our rabbis taught, one who sees the sun at its turning point recites the blessing of the maker of works of creation. The Gemara clarifies when the turning point mentioned in the Bereta occurs and explains the basis of the 28 years. When the cycle renews and the season of Nisan, that is the vernal equinox, falls in Saturn on the evening of Tuesday going on to Wednesday. The Shulchan Aruch states that the blessing generally said upon experiencing natural phenomena should also be recited upon witnessing the sun at its turning point. This term, quoted from the above-mentioned Bereta, is explained by the Chafetz Chaim as referring to the point in time at which the sun returns to the start of its cycle, similar to when it was created. The blessing is recited on the morning after the sun completes its cycle. Ideally, it should be recited at sunrise. It is preferred to recite the blessing with a multitude of people. The Magan Avraham and the Shuv insist that it be recited within the first 3 hours after sunrise. The Mishnah Berurah, however, states on behalf of numerous Achronim that it is permitted the blessing to be recited until halachic noon. According to most opinions, the blessing may only be recited if the sun can be seen. However, if the sun is completely blocked by clouds, there is a minority view that allows the blessing to be recited nevertheless, because essentially the blessing is on the occurrence of the sun's physical position with the timing of the day. According to the Babylonian Talmud, the sun's 28-year cycle to return to its position that it was in when the universe was created, and on the 4th day of the week of creation. Because Jewish law considers the time unit of a day to span from evening to evening, the beginning of the halakhic 4th day is Tuesday evening at sundown, although I'm not sure how there was a sundown without the sun. The 28-year cycle therefore begins and ends at the point of time when the sun was created, this being sundown on Tuesday. Despite rigorous calculations, there is no synchronization of this prayer and the actual astronomical point in time when the sun crosses the celestial equator. Furthermore, from an astronomical point of view, there is nothing special to these dates. For example, the sun, moon, planets, and stars will not be aligned in any specific pattern. As explained in the Talmud, there is a tradition that the sun was created in its vernal equinox position at the beginning of the month of Nisan. The sages of the Talmud settled disputes over the halakhic definition of the vernal equinox by establishing it on March 25th of the Julian calendar. The method of marking the cycle of Machar HaGadol is that using the 25th of March was invalidated in 1582 CE when the Julian calendar was replaced by the Gregorian calendar by decree of Pope Gregory XIII. The calendar was adjusted to allow for Easter to be celebrated at the appropriate time, according to an agreement reached at the First Council of Nicaea in 325 CE. To recalculate the calendar, 2 adjustments were made. 10 days were removed in order to compensate for the importation of excess days since the establishment of the Julian calendar, and a method to avoid further incorporation of excess days was put into place, whereby February the 29th would be skipped according to a particular algorithm. Last days of the Julian calendar was Thursday, 4th of October, 1582. This was followed by the first day of the Gregorian calendar, Friday, the 15th of October. Thus, while the halakhic vernal equinox occurred on 25th of March until 1582, in 1583 it occurred on April the 4th, in countries that had accepted the new Gregorian calendar. Nevertheless, other countries did not accept the Gregorian calendar right away. England accepted it in 1752, and some Eastern Orthodox churches continue to use the Julian calendar to this day. For establishing the dates of the Jewish calendar, an algorithm is used that is more accurate than the Julian calendar, though not quite as accurate as the Gregorian calendar. However, since the computations of the seasons was something that the sages wanted everyone to understand, they used the less accurate computation identical to the Julian calendar. Thus, the Jewish calendar was not modified. As a result, the halakhic vernal equinox has been shifting slightly forward in the Gregorian calendar every century. It's worth noting that the true spring equinox occurs on March 21st, yet Birkat HaHama is said 18 days later, with the error increasing by about 3/4 of a day per century. This inaccuracy accrued over thousands of years as a result of using the inaccurate calculations for the length of the year. The sun-worshipping Druids started about 400 BCE, whereas we have been acknowledging and respecting the sun since about 3000 BCE. So to paraphrase William Booth, why should the Druids have all the sunshine? Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. you, Morris.
Resounding silence.
I remember Birchat HaChama. I gave a Shabbat Kodesh talk on that 2009, and then went to Israel for the day. And I was in Israel, and was up at sunrise. It was very interesting. Yeah, very good. Thank you so much. Okay, now